been given a bit of air. There you go. Beautiful use of the feet there by Ricky Ponting.
And no slip in place. Pretty tough one for a spinner to find. A captain courageous enough to put in a slip in this form of cricket, but another boundary of the Australians, and that takes them to 2 shy of victory. And this is the 3rd match on the first day of the Super Max 8s.
Well, this is the kind of boundary a fielder hates, because he has to chase all the way there. Robin Singh has got to do all the hard work. And just as he's about to reach the ball crosses the boundary rope.
And that may be enough. All the way to the boundary. So Australia has played 2 games and won 2. Beating both Pakistan this morning and now beating a very good Indian side who perhaps, as RJ Jadeja said to us before the game, before India fielded, about 25 runs short. And this is the winning shot by the Australian captain. Gilchrist very, very strong through that area, as the scorecard is that Australia chased 124 for victory, finished with 4 for 126. Ponting, Simons and Gilchrist the damaging batsmen for Australia, after both openers were dismissed very cheaply. And for India, wicket apiece to the first 4 bowlers, but really tough for the Indians to defend just 124 against Australia. So the final result, as the clouds come by, Australia has won against India by 3 wickets. And to our Fox Sports viewers in Australia, we bid you good night and look forward to your company tomorrow morning here from Kuala Lumpur.
It's a leg side smear, and effective enough. Hit that on the leg side and into the corporate tents. Well, that's an amazing shot.
So Gavaskar, the last ball, 3 required for victory, and he's got under it, and he's got over it. So 6 runs, a big hit in the end. And away he goes again. And that is a big hit onto the mid-wicket roof. Nice and full, but that's a great shot. Over cover point for 6.
Does that. Well over the top.
And that's the stand-up double over left field for the baseball fans. And away he goes again, does Gilchrist. That's way over the top. That's a big 6 again.
Oh, here we go. That's gone further.
Well, some fabulous big hitting, and that's what this game is all about. Well, with me, Fox Sports commentator Shane Warne. Shane, we've seen some great hitting, some innovations. Any new law changes you'd like to see perhaps in this form of cricket?
Yeah, I think that some of the rules have been great, and in this sort of cricket, you can trial rules and you can try different things. I think the no ball rule is a very good rule, where you get a free hit the next one, you can't be given out. The only thing I think is maybe the wide could be the same rule. Instead of the 2 runs, just bowl a delivery again and get a free hit, exactly the same rule as a no ball.
What about the dead ball when you hit the stumps? Would you like to see that used in other forms of cricket?
Yeah, I think it's a good rule for this form of cricket, but in other forms of cricket, I think it takes away the thinking of the guy on the boundary when he has to back up the stumps. So I think that sort of rule is good for this form of cricket, but in one-day cricket or test cricket, I don't think so.
All right, today's draw, Shane, 2 games before lunch, India versus South Africa, then Pakistan versus New Zealand. After lunch, the final, Australia-New Zealand. New Zealand have about 45 minutes between games. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Well, it's hard to know, isn't it? Australia coming cold to the final. New Zealand got to play back-to-back games. They have got a little bit of time in between, and I think as long as they sort of bat second and then bowl in the final first, or vice versa, then that shouldn't be a disadvantage or an advantage, I don't think.
The credit to the Australian team. They've taken it seriously.
Yeah, I think the side they've got is a very good side. Most of the guys have played international cricket or they've played a bit of test cricket. So they have got a good mix of experience and youth, and I think they've probably been the best side in the competition.
Well, the first game is India versus South Africa. Should be a beauty. And let's go to the commentary box now with Robin Jackman.
There's the two teams. Dave Callaghan, who I was talking to just now, captain of South Africa. Feeling reasonably confident, although India have won the toss and asked South Africa to bat, or instructed them to bat, which has been the successful format for virtually every game. Only one game won with all the overs completed by the side batting first. And that was when Australia played South Africa. Australia posting a score of over 150. And South Africa scoring the second highest team score of the tournament in losing that game, so some solace for them. But as explained just now by David Hookes and Sano Gavaskar, a disappointment that this game is of no real consequence, purely because of the game being washed out between Australia and New Zealand, giving them each a point, and as they both had 100% records, that puts every other side out of the competition in terms of playing in the final. Mike Rindle just on the balcony there, pointing out a couple of things. Dave Callaghan to open the batting. He's actually at the non-striker's end. And with me, as he has been for 3 days this morning, Shane Warne.
Yes, good morning, Robin. It's these two sides obviously not playing in the final and just playing for a little bit of pride. They've obviously learned a lot, a few of the younger players over the last few days, and would have had a general chat to the experienced guys, how they found it, well, how can I improve, and just playing for a bit of personal pride this morning.
It's quite interesting talking to John Kent, by the way, in picture, opening the batting with Captain Callaghan. And Dave Callaghan was saying this morning when I asked him about Joshy, because he'd bowled so well in the tournament so far, none of this team have ever played against Joshy before, including David and Mike Rindle, so he's quite looking forward to the contest. Robin Singh will open the bowling, and day 3 commences. Well, very nearly. Little gentle loosening outswinger. The ball has swung throughout this tournament. I think it's a fairly known fact that the white ball tends to swing more than the red one anyway, no matter where you play in the world. That one swung pretty much as soon as it left his hand. It swung all the way down the pitch. And batsmen have more problems, obviously, the later the ball swings. It comes straight at you for a while and then swings. It's much more of a problem. Here we go again, outswing again, and a little outside edge. So a bad start for South Africa, a great start for India. The second ball of the match sees John Kent on his way back into the pavilion.
Yeah, Robin Singh's really got the first two deliveries swinging, and John Kent then just this morning just trying to find his feet, and he's copped a couple of good deliveries. So we see Robin Singh, you're talking about the late swing, that went a little bit later, and a simple catch to 9 Mongia, and India off to a great start.
The fall of the wicket before South Africa get off the mark. 2 balls gone, 1 wicket down. That'll bring to the wicket Morne van Wyk. Played so well yesterday, 69 he got in somewhere in the region of 34, 35 deliveries. And it takes one player to get a total of somewhere around about 60, 70 in order for a team score to be anywhere near 140, 150. If everyone gets around about 30, well, not everyone, but if the top scores around about 30, 35, then you're looking at scores closer to the 120 mark. Have one more look at that again. Just swing. tiny little nick, but loud enough.
Yeah, we saw the footwork there of John Kemp just a little bit lazy this morning. The first couple of deliveries, hoping to just get one off the mark, a nice easy one on the pads, but it wasn't to be.
Cut away by Morné Vervaeken and very nearly fell flat in his face as soon as he started off for a run. Let's have a look here. Stud stuck in the ground. No, he's just slipping. Like he was running on ice for a moment. Callaghan goes after that, and he's got a fat edge, but it'll get down for 4. Ball running quite quickly over the outfield, considering that when we left here last night, you couldn't see a blade of grass on the whole of this ground. It was an absolute lake. Monsoon rains, and we were a pretty picture making our way from the commentary box to the car park, and the trousers rolled up and shoes under our arms.
And carrying some of the biggest umbrellas in the world we were carrying, and no, the groundsmen have done a great job.
More outswing there. It's a good over this from Singh.
Yeah, we talked earlier in the over, Robin, about the ball swinging late, and we watched the ball here, the seam nice and upright, and just the footwork just not quite there early this morning, just trying to get used to the conditions. A little bit lazy this morning, and Robin Singh bowling an excellent over here.
And one down the leg side and a wide. It's quite interesting to note that since day one, the line for the leg side wide has been brought in a little bit tighter to the batsman. It was 24 inches from middle stump. It's now closer to about 18, so they've given the bowlers 6 inches less leeway.
See, that one looked a bit tight too, that one. I think Robin Singh was a bit disappointed.
And again, the outswing beating Callaghan. End of the over, 7 for 1, South Africa. Of course, the experts will tell you, or the great players will tell you, when you're playing outswing bowling, the secret is to let it do as much of the swinging as possible before you look to play it, and the direction in which you look to play it. It's no good trying to hit an outswinger through mid-off extra cover area unless it's a really long half volley. You're better off allowing the ball to swing itself out, as it were, and play it as late and as square as possible. That gives you a better chance of finding the middle of the bat rather than the edge of the bat. So the man out, John Kent, in the first over, the second ball, in fact, of the innings. It'll just be 1. Ajay Jadeja, the opening bowler for India, from the commentary box end, hasn't bowled a lot in the tournament. Did bowl yesterday. For someone who gets utilised quite a lot in the 50-over game, in the big game, it was surprising not to see him bowl just a little bit more. No mug with the ball either. He'll swing it. It was nicely played by Callaghan, and an illustration of playing the ball really late.
I think that just sums up what you're talking about there, Robin. We saw him not trying to hit it too square. It was just a fraction shot, but he just waited and then just ran it down to third man. His body was in good position to enable him just to play it down to third man. But the groundsmen and the curators have done a great job out here today after the rain last night. There is that outswing again. And I really do, I think they deserve some credit, because it wasn't raining cats and dogs, it was elephant and horses last night. It was coming down that heavy. And I think they've done an absolute superb job to get the ground up for play on time this morning.
Couldn't agree more. The chat amongst us last evening was that it was possible that these two games might not be played because the ground just couldn't possibly dry in time, and we'd wait around until about 1 o'clock and play the final. But the ground does dry very well, obviously, and as you say, Andrew Rutledge from New Zealand, the turf manager, as they call him in New Zealand, or curators, as they call him in Australia, have done a fantastic job. And a good tight over from Jadeja, just one boundary this morning to date. The mid-on now going back to long on for the last ball, and the third man coming up into the circle. There must be 3 in the circle for the first 7 overs. Slower delivery, leg by, 11 for 1. I say these guys who've been playing in this tournament, especially the younger chaps, when they get back and get back into normal cricket, they won't know what to do with half the fielders that they've got. I suddenly feel they got too many out there, one standing behind the other.
I'm sure the bowlers won't mind that. They're having a few extra fielders out there.
Kemp, George, Sung, Rindle, Townsend to come. Not in that order by any manner of means. I think Michael Rindle will bat just a little bit higher than that. South Africa restricted in their selection this morning. They're playing the 8 left. 9 players came over here. Grant Elliott has a shoulder injury and was unfit for this game, which leaves South Africa's batting just a little bit thin. So a lot of responsibility rests on Callaghan and Rindle in particular, and also on Morne van Wyk, the man on strike right now, who played so well yesterday.
Yes, I think Grant Elliott's enjoyed his time here over the last couple of days. He's really been enthusiastic on the field with his cricket, and he looks quite a good player. And, same with Mr. Townsend. He looks a handy bowler and nice tall action, and I think South Africa have been a little bit stiff in this tournament. You know, lost the game off the last ball, and I think they've been a pretty good side here, and a lot of the younger guys really would enjoy this experience here, and they'll only better for it.
I couldn't believe it when David Townsend told me he's yet to play a first-class cricket match. The ability that he showed and the promise that he shows, I don't think it'll be a lot longer before he does. The man in question. Again, Callaghan letting that get to him, playing it next to his left knee, under his eyes.
Robin Singh bowling a very handy spell here of outswing bowling. We've seen Robin Singh over the last couple of days hit some big sixes and bat very well, but this morning he's bowling very well.
Sensible cricket.
A couple of younger Indian players would learn a lot off Robin Singh. He's been around for a long time. He's played a lot of international cricket, and a few of the younger guys in the side would have learned a lot off him, would have been chatting to him in the hotel, talking about how they go about their game. I'm sure they would have really enjoyed the last few days.
It'll be over 16 for 1, 3 gone. I promised all the Australian commentators here, Shane Warne, David Hooks, Bruce Yardley, that we wouldn't discuss rugby union. Most of them are Aussie rules supporters anyway, so they don't really care about their nation and when it comes to the union game.
Well, exactly what you said, Robin. We won't discuss it.
Long on coming up now for the first couple of deliveries. It's quite good tactics. Unless it goes past him, which that has.
It's interesting to see the different field settings over the last few days, Robin, the tactics. Now we've seen 3 men on the offside inside the circle and 3 on the onside, all on the boundary, and there's been lots of different field settings, and it has been interesting to watch the captain's techniques on what he thinks are the right positions.
That's very, very well hit indeed. Over mid-wicket for 6, just a little bit short. Jadeja and Callaghan onto it very quickly.
Yeah, just a bit too short there from Jadeja, and Dave Callaghan just rocked back on the back foot, transferred his weight very well, and that hit the middle of the bat. You see here, goes back and across, transferred his weight on the back foot and got into a good position, which enabled him to just swing the arms and hit the ball over mid-wicket fence for 6. And that, I'm not sure, I've probably lost track of how many new cricket balls ever used in these last 3 days, but we see another one coming now. Hopefully there's not too many more lost for the day.
Just talking about field placings, it's quite difficult to come to a tournament like this and have a set plan as to where you're going to deploy your 7 available fielders. In fact, your 6 available fielders when one is taken up by the wicketkeeper. And it takes a game or 2 to sort of come up with a pattern that works for your various bowlers. And that's half the competition, 2 games. Every side plays 4 games in the round robin before the final. So unless the captain or a couple of the players have played this type of cricket before, it's quite difficult to plan it. It's nicely played by Callaghan down. Good footwork, but only one. Well, that was either very good running or quite sloppy fielding from Badadi. He didn't exactly sprint off the boundary here.
Yeah, it looked like there was only one in it, and South Africa, just Dave Callaghan thought there was only one in there, but then they were hustling back for the 2, and Jadeja didn't look too happy about that one.
Especially when the next ball goes for 4. So expensive over.
How often does that happen, Robin? They get a 2 instead of 1, and the bowler's just a little bit disappointed in his fielder that he didn't hustle quick enough, and then the next ball we see it gets hit to the boundary, and that just adds salt to the wounds.
An interesting shot selection, and the end of the over, 30 for 1. There's 2 overs each, Singh and Jadeja. Singh the more economical of the 2, 12 runs off his 2, and the wicket of John Kent. Jadeja 17 off his 2 overs. And a bowling change right now. Mongia up to the stump, so the speedsters are off. Kanikar. Rishikesh Kanikar. Off breaks. Started to spin the ball yesterday too. That one didn't spin, it just sped off through extra cover for 4. Good shot.
It spun off the bat, that one. That Kanikar, just a bit of a loosener first up. Just far too short. Which enabled the batsman just to basically hit it where he liked. He just backed away a little bit, give himself a little bit of room, and just had to find the gap. We see the back foot just go across, give himself a little bit of room, and just had to beat the fieldsman at cover, and it was always going to be 4.
Nicely played by Van Veek in terms of placement. It's not going to be easy to have a full-blown discussion here, Shane, while we got a slow bowler on, but a question for you to... Oh, that's a nice place to hit the ball. it'll only be 2. Talk about spin the ball and a loosener. Let's go to a test match situation. Shane Warne comes on the bowl. When does he find out for himself just how much turn there is in the pitch? When do you really express yourself, or do you just, is length the first and most important thing to settle into? That's a good shot. Is it in the zone? Ooh, just curved past the right-hand post there. So only 4.
Yes, the no flag there. A good shot, just a fraction full from Kanika, and Dave Callaghan with some good footwork. He punches it over to mid-off. But getting back to your point, Robin, I think the general feel is when you first come on is just to get some rhythm.
That is max zone. It's a question of whether it's max runs. It is. 6 doubles up to 12. Flag in the air.
He looks pretty excited, the guy with the flag. It's he had a bit of a smile on his face here. We see Dave Callaghan quick on his feet, getting to the pitch of the ball. Ball just skidding on a little bit this morning with the damp conditions and not really turning. And Dave Callaghan hit a very big 6 or 12.
Ah, that's so foolish. You know, he's just hit such a great shot straight down the ground. What was wrong with the same shot again? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Big disappointment this for Dave Callaghan. It does pitch on. I was just checking it hadn't pitched outside leg stump for a left-hander, but that doesn't count, does it?
No, it really does. You don't know why. I'm a bowler, so I'm not sure what goes through a batsman's head, but that really does surprise me. He's just played 2 glorious shots straight down the ground, and then he gets out to that. He's out for 40. It's 2 for 53.
So 53 then, South Africa. 40 of those coming from Callaghan's bat, and he really was looking to play really well. As I say, I think South Africa just a little bit on the shy side from batsmen, with Grant Elliott being injured with a shoulder injury. And so Callaghan's dismissal, having played 2 glorious shots, came as a little bit of a surprise. Mike Rindle makes his way to the wicket. David Hooks makes his way into my commentary chair. Bruce Yardley has already taken over from Shane Warne.
Thank you very much, Robin. And foolish shot. 12 runs the ball before, and then playing a shot that not even you would be proud of, Bruce.
Yeah, I can't understand this reverse sweep. It's come into play. The South Africans play it a lot. I don't know if it's something that's been introduced by their current coach, Bob Woolmer, but they all seem to love to play this reverse sweep, and I just think it must at times put the batsman in 2 minds as the bowler's running in as to whether he's going to play it or he's not, and why you just don't stick with the orthodox shots. The percentage is there, and as we saw, those 2 magnificent shots down the ground, and it was crazy stuff. But I guess if he'd hit it for 4, we would have said, oh well, he can hit them everywhere, but there's no percentage in it. And it's Sunil Joshi, left arm orthodox.
And a bit of turn. We saw Joshi getting some lovely flight, drift and turn yesterday, and immediately this morning he started the same way. He has been the class spinner of this tournament.
Yeah, he gets it coming out right, doesn't he? It's he gets over spin and side spin, and that's the hallmark of a good finger spinner.
Nice and full. Dangerous time to play the sweep shot when it is that full. Got away that down to fine leg for a couple of runs, but not the ideal length to play the sweep from.
He's a crisp hitter of the ball, Van Wyk, Morné Van Wyk, but obviously fancies himself on the sweep, and he got it away nicely.
And there it is again, the reverse sweep, this time reasonably successful, although once again a lot of risk for just 2 runs. And I can perhaps understand the reverse sweep going along with what you were saying before, Bruce. If there were 14 fielders out there and the only gap was behind point, but when you've only got 6 fielders, any orthodox shot's going to score, so why would you take an enormous risk for just one run or maybe two. And look at that. There's an orthodox shot over mid-on's head. And a couple of runs to Robin Singh fielding.
Yes, it's obviously a shot, the reverse sweep, that they practice a lot and they feel confident. But I see a lot of players getting out to it, and that to me makes a lot more sense. He's got a chance of going through the line of the ball, hitting into the max zone, picking up a doubling up his score.
And the sweep again being employed. Again, a very full, very heavy outfield. We had such an enormous amount of rain yesterday afternoon, which caused the abandonment of play. One full match, Australia-New Zealand not getting a delivery. And the previous match, India versus Pakistan, being washed out with just 2 overs remaining. But yet to look at the pitch, you wouldn't know that today, although the outfield's just a little bit slow. Oh, good delivery. So 4 twos from the over. South Africa 2 for 61.
Yes, he's a very good orthodox left arm spinner, Joshi. He's just pushed this through a little bit quicker. Look at the turn and bounce. So this pitch is standing up well. The curator this morning was saying he's just a little bit worried for the final. Maybe it might just crack up a little bit on the cracks and around the cracked area, break up a bit, and it could turn a lot in the final. So we'll have to wait and see.
So Dave Callaghan played very well before he was dismissed, playing that reverse sweep. Only the second LBW of the tournament. Still no maiden overs. And Rajesh Chauhan about to come into the attack.
Yeah, he's not easy to get away either. If he gets his line and length right, he's got a terrific change of pace, and it's very, very hard to pick up. He's got a quicker ball that's it's very, very well disguised.
First ball to Rindle, and around the body the ball went. Just to wait to see from the umpire whether there was any bat on the ball. Just wait for the umpire's signal. And buys.
So it looks like he's going to try and tuck them up around about leg stump, the left-hander, coming back in towards leg. As long as he's not going further way down leg, he should be all right. 3 buys. So 2 men in the deep on the leg side.
Man at long off has come into the circle to complement the Laws. 3 inside the circle. So the 2 men on the leg side went out. So mid-off stopped the ball. Gets plenty of turn, does Jones. So both these bowlers, both these finger spinners from India, really genuinely big turners of the ball.
Just curving into the leg stump there. That was a nice delivery.
And he's whacked that away. 2 men on the leg side boundary, but they won't be able to stop it. So well placed.
He puts away the bad balls, Morno van Wyk, and you can't set a field to that. A rank full toss on about leg stump, and definitely had to go for 4. So 23 for him now from 16 deliveries.
Well taken by Nyan Mongia. And that's one of the reasons why Chauhan doesn't maintain a regular spot in the Indian side. His inconsistency in landing the ball. He lands some outside leg stump, some outside off stump, but when he gets it absolutely right, he does bowl some beautiful deliveries. So the end of an over, the 7th over, halfway mark, 9 runs from it, 2 for 70.
Tonight from the
And the 2 men out for South Africa. Sunil Joshi to continue from the commentary box end.
Yes, he's going to come over the wicket to the left-hander. Makes sense.
And a half shout. One could quite comfortably say that wasn't out because Nyan Mongia didn't appeal.
Yeah, you can usually tell when you see which way the keeper's going. It's pitched and spinning probably down leg side. You can see the keeper starting to move towards leg side. He knows it's missing. Oh, he had a little shout. I suppose when they're close, they're worth a shout. You might just get one from the umpire.
And again, the attempted sweep, just not picking the length of the ball to sweep. You really need to have a bit of distance between your front pad and the ball if you're going to play the sweep correctly.
Yeah, so Van Wyk, he's looking for the sweep all the time. He's probably not confident. He's seen Joshi spin the ball prodigiously over the last couple of days, and he's a bit worried about the ball spinning away to the offside if he tries to come down the ground or over cover. Scoring at 9.81 per over.
And that's why giving yourself some room. Didn't quite bounce as much as you would have liked, but it was a bit too full to play the cut shot. And a dangerous shot to play coming into the body and trying to play the sweep shot. So Joshi continues to show the form that's made him the best spinner of this tournament.
Yes, he came over the wicket. It means that he can take the ball away from the left-hander, then spin back in. And it's beautifully bowled, just a little bit quicker. And Mark Rindle, most experienced player for the South Africans, is gone. 1 from 4 deliveries. Bowled Joshi. It's now 72 for 3. Yeah, the secret to building a big score when you're batting first, and I really believe you need 140, possibly 150 to win if you bat first, is to make sure that you keep it ticking over, but don't lose too many early wickets. Justin Kemp makes his way to the crease.
Justin Kemp has come to the wicket to face Joshi because of this. Just giving yourself some room, but you see only hitting about 2/3 of the way up the stumps, which means it is either being too full to cut or it hasn't bounced as much as you would have liked, and probably a little bit of a combination of both.
Yeah, any finger spinner likes to see a batsman trying to cut against the spin. Percentage isn't there for the batsman.
Good bowling again. Good aggressive fielding by Jadeja in the extra cover position.
Got a beautiful, easy, rhythmical action, hasn't he, Joshi? It's just so easy for him.
Nice way to get off the mark. A comfortable 2. We haven't seen any captains really be aggressive with their field placings. New batsman coming to the crease, ball spinning prodigiously. Why wouldn't you have all your men inside the circle, just for a couple of balls?
How easy is that? Beautifully drives over the front foot. Good bowler.
Just the 2 runs from the over and a wicket. Another brilliant over from Sunil Joshi. 8 overs gone, 3 for 74.
Yes, I remember when I used to bowl, I used to have to run in about 8 paces and I'd do a lot more work to get on the ball, the work on the ball that he just finds so easy to do. I used to watch Bishan Bedi too, and I used to think, my God, I'd love to be able to just drop in off a couple of paces and land it on a leg.
Perhaps you should have become a left-handed bowler, Bruce. You look like an elongated tentacle running into bowl.
You leave me speechless sometimes, Hooksy.
Did you ever watch yourself bowl, Bruce, or you were so smart that you refused to look at video of yourself? Because you're right, Josie, what a lovely action.
Let's talk about Morné van Wyk. I've had some elocution lessons from Robin Jackman over some of these pronunciations.
And a nice shot over cover. You haven't seen that shot played as much this tournament as I would have thought. I think probably because there are so many gaps. The players have tried to hit a little bit straighter for the max zone. It is a shot that's, I think Mike Proctor probably invented, and a lot of players followed it, but we haven't seen it all that often over the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's quite safe. The man's inside the circle, and to get it over his head, he's only got to hit it 30 metres in the air. And as long as you're confident about it and go through with a shot, there's not much risk.
And leading edge, but didn't carry back to the bowler. Just trying to turn it a little bit too early, or perhaps the pitch is just slowing up or holding up a fraction.
Yeah, that was the line to sweep, wasn't it? He obviously wasn't considering the sweep.
And premeditated in the numbers game, and he got it very, very fine. Slow outfit because of the rain yesterday. The rain that Shane Warne described earlier as not raining cats and dogs, but raining elephants and horses. It was so heavy, and the whole ground was just flooded. Probably 2 or 3 inches. Everybody leaving the ground, commentators included, had to take their shoes and socks off and roll their trousers up.
Yes, they've done some great work on this ground, drainage-wise. I was a bit worried. I was wondering whether we'd get started this morning. But terrific drainage system installed leading up to the Commonwealth Games. They've got to make sure they get through all the matches.
10 runs from the 9th over. South Africa going along pretty nicely, 3 for 84.
So 5 more overs remaining. They'll need to score at least 10 and over. Get them up to 130, 140. They'd like 150 because the sides batting second have done pretty well in this tournament. Can pace themselves when you know what your target score is.
Maximum of 3 overs per bowler, so Sunil Joshi about to bowl his final over. Has the figures of 1 for 10 from his 2 overs. And has been very, very good again.
Very difficult to get away unless he strays in line just outside off stump, because he's coming around the wicket to the right-hander, angling in towards middle and leg stump, and then there's a possibility he can turn it away to the offside from there. And that's that angle we were just discussing, the fact that he was looking for the cover drive then, but it just kept coming in from way outside. See that? And he's got an inside edge.
Bit short, and a single to the man, Rohan Gavaskar, on the circle, so 30 metres away from the bat. Easy single.
We saw a couple of right-handers decide to charge Joshi yesterday and got stranded about 2 metres down the track. Prodigious turn.
And full again, and just the bottom edge, I think, to deny the appeal by the bowler and wicketkeeper. No, leg by.
Well, it must have been going down leg side. No one appealed. It's the angle, I guess. Whoa! How close was that?
Too short, no slip in place, of course. And a couple of runs. Gavaskar doing the work. Good piece of fielding. We've seen some very, very good outfielding by most of the sides. The Australians really have been the trendsetters in this tournament as far as throwing from the outfield.
Just a fraction shorter outside off stump, and he's opened the face of the blade beautifully there for a couple of runs. Faster outfield, it was 4.
And that's it. Last ball of his spell, and Joshi finishes with 3 overs, 2 for 14. A fantastic piece of bowling again. Too full to play that shot.
He's so beautifully balanced, Joshi, at point of delivery that he can see them coming. He's just fired that in just a little quicker. Not so much side spin, and magnificent bowling. Just absolutely knocked him over. Justin Kemp, 6 from 10 deliveries. He really struggled, obviously likes the ball coming on a bit quicker. Didn't handle the spinners all that well. Bowled Joshi for 6. It's now 88 for 4.
Who has number 8 on his bag.